What is up, guys? Welcome into a brand new video. Now today we are going to be having a look at Cricket 24 and the ways that we think that we can improve it. Now I don't want to go completely kind of out there and say, oh, it needs a new engine, we need to upgrade the graphics, we need to completely rip everything out. I know that's not going to happen. I just wanted to put some of the thoughts that I thought that Big Ant could possibly do in the next month or so with some patches, some new content coming to the game, and things like that. So maybe just some ideas. Maybe some people will agree with me. Some people can give me some more ideas which they'd like to see in the game. But this is just kind of some things that I would like to see in the game. It's going to be very similar to kind of the things that I wanted to see when I did my kind of wish list for Cricket 24. Spoiler alert, we didn't get a lot of the features that I wanted, with it being pretty much the same game. But before we get into it, guys, if you could leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, it does massively help out the channel. And kind of my first point is a point that I seem to bang on a lot about, just for the simple fact of I feel like it's like the main point that this game, and it can take it to another level, and that's going to be Pro Team. I think we desperately need something like that. I think you can see that all games are kind of moving to an online way that is played. I mean, when people load up FIFA, they very rarely will play a manager mode or a player mode or career mode around that. 2K is the same. It's going to be online. Okay, 2K is a little bit different because their career mode is so good. Like, in terms of career mode, like NBA 2K is just up there, but still, you're in the park, you're in things like that. Call of Duty is obviously multiplayer. There's Call of Duties that are being released that don't even have a campaign. I know they've changed it slightly, but there was a point where we didn't have a campaign. So I think that it has to move to an online space. I think Pro Team is really the only way that could really happen. Things I want to see for Pro Team, I want to see kind of legends in the game. I want to see your Shane Warnes. I want to see your Alistair Cooks. I want to see your Bradmans. Now, I know that there was a tweet from Ross, I think it was today or yesterday, who said that Pro Team was coming and pretty much finished. But the main issue with it is the licensing and the morality and the moral issues that they've got. Now, I presume the moral issues are going to be around players that aren't necessarily alive anymore, and do you put them in the game and things like that. That's the question I would imagine it's going to be. So I'm not 100% sure when we'll get it for either Cricket 24. Obviously, AFL 23 is also still waiting for that to be released. That was promised on launch, and because it was so buggy, it got taken out, which is interesting that they still haven't had it 6 months later. I hope to see it in the next couple of months, realistically, if not sooner. But yeah, I think there should be not a weekend league, but I think there should be different level of rewards. Say if you play 5 games in a day, you'll get more rewards. A little bit like the drafts would work in FIFA. So if you win 4 games, the better the rewards are, and if you just win 1 game, the rewards aren't as good. So that's the way I do it. I think that's probably the fairest way. I wouldn't go all in on microtransactions and say the only way you can build this team is by microtransactions. I would keep it relatively simple. It should be a relatively free-to-play game, because you're already spending your £50 on a game that's pretty much bare bones as it is. Different things like offline scenarios and things like that. It kind of moves into my next point, is I really want to see a scenario mode in the game. I'd love to replay Ben Stokes' Headingley innings, trying to survive at Cardiff in 2009, and things like that. That excites me. That would, and you could add 2 or 3 every week. It gets people coming back. I'd make content around it. I'd try and do the challenges. There'd be a video from me every week on the different scenarios coming out and trying to do them. Now, I'm not the greatest cricket historian, whether I could say, oh, well, you need to go back to 1989 and do the India Sri Lanka. I don't know that much about cricket. I know about modern cricket and some of the cricket I knew growing up. But that's what I think would work really well in the game. And it would also keep people coming back. I think the biggest problem that Big Ant are going to have with this game is the longevity of it. So if you can keep adding 2 or 3 kind of scenarios a week, get people logging back in, keep people playing the game, that would really help. But it shouldn't take a lot to get that in the game. We had something very similar in Cricket 22. The problem was it didn't really work. So it was called Online Challenges, I think it was called, but it was like bowl 10 dot balls in a row, and things like that. And it didn't quite do it for me. It was also on what felt like either a previous version of the game, or it was like on like an online server, and it was so buggy, like it was just ridiculous. So I'd love to see something like that implemented. Just as kind of an idea for more content in the game. They've got to fix the fielding bugs. The fielding bugs have got to be fixed, and pretty quick. They've got to look at everything and say, okay, the players shouldn't be doing this. Like there shouldn't be that fielder that has just run outside of the boundary edge to get round to him. It shouldn't happen. It really kind of takes you actually being in the game. I can't think of the right word is. I think it was one of the IGN reviews or something like that. Immersive doesn't make the game feel very immersive when it does that. So I'd really like to see a change in the field in dynamics. Again, things like the hair and sticking up and drop catches in the outfield, and they've kind of got to fix themselves by people looking the wrong way. That's got to be done. I think that's got to be number one, is fix the gameplay, get it up to a decent standard. That shouldn't be too difficult to do. You kind of should know what needs to be done. I mean, there's hundreds of clips online now of people saying, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken, this is what's happening in my game. I've had one when I was trying to film my Ben Stokes series, where my game kept crashing every time I tried to pick a star player. I've submitted a ticket for that. Hopefully it gets resolved, because I don't want to go through and simulate every single ball of a 50 over game. It's tiresome, it really is. With career mode, I think there's got to be a lot more into it, and there's got to be a reason to keep playing it. I think we need team rankings, we need player rankings. Actually, I think there is a team ranking system. I'm not 100% sure how it works. I haven't got to the England level yet, but we need the player rankings. We need to know how we're getting on. We need to know kind of if we could see all-time stats. So if you're an opening bat and you want to have a look, I've got 15,000 runs in Test cricket, how high am I on the all-time rankings? That shouldn't be too hard to put in. You should just be able to put a name in the game with all of the stats that are currently in. Obviously the stuff that changes every now and then, but how many test matches are going to happen in the next, I don't know, 2 years that will have the game? Probably not that many. You'll probably have 30 test matches. So the chances of people jumping historical players, not really going to happen. Okay, you could kind of put some AI stuff into there and maybe have an algorithm. I don't design games. That's kind of, I just want to put this idea of what would make me feel happier about career mode. Another thing that kind of upsets me about the game is that it's just, especially at the start of a career mode, it's just the same thing. You've got a 3-day game, you've got a T20, then you've got the 50 overs, and you're just completing that cycle for the first 2 or 3 years until you get called up to the kind of next level, whether it's county, whether it's state cricket, or wherever country you're starting off at. So I really want to see a change to that. If you could play, I don't know, 3 T20s in a row, then you have a couple of 3-day games, because that's not kind of how club cricket works. I mean, club cricket is kind of just turn up on a Saturday and play then. And it's always relatively the same format. So I guess it's not necessarily true anyway. I don't really know how club cricket works in Australia, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like that. It's more grade cricket, isn't it? It's still going to be kind of, you turn up on a Saturday and you play cricket and you play your format. I know they do it over, I think it's 2 days, some of the stuff they do over there. which obviously we don't. So yeah, I just a bit more immersive, a bit more feel. Okay, if we can get some more cutscenes, then great. But just little changes like that. Things like you can't unlock a bat sponsorship until you've got to a certain level, rather than just be able to pick as soon as you go into your career from any bat you want. Okay, I know you can go out and buy them. If there was sort of an in-game currency as well, that would be fantastic. Maybe that's pushing that a little bit too far. So then you could upgrade your gloves, your pads, your helmet, your bat, and things like that, until you get a sponsorship, and then they give you the bat for free. So, for instance, like in 2K, you get your shoe supplier, where you can wear Nike shoes, and they give you a set of you get free Nike shoes from Nike. Or if you want to play in different shoes, then you can go out and go to the shop and you can buy Adidas or something like that. That would be really interesting if they could add that to career mode. I'd love to see it. So that's kind of all I want in the game for now. There's a couple of other things. The main thing is kind of the fielding glitches, and everything not feeling that smooth. I think that's got to be priority number one. Wicket keepers to be faster. That's one thing I would like in the game. That's kind of it. Let's fix the fielding. Let's try and add some more content if we can. If we don't, then okay, the game's going to die off pretty quick. But you've got your £50, so what does Big Ant care anymore? I don't know how well the next game would do. I'll probably still buy it, because this is what I do. I play cricket games. It has made me thought the release of Cricket 24, of whether I should try out maybe some of the mobile games like the Dream Cricket or the Real Cricket games, because they seem to be really good, and everyone raves about them. Never been a massive fan of mobile games, but I would like to see how it goes. Maybe we'll give that a try, but obviously while Cricket 24 is still relatively new and we're still getting patches, hopefully they're actually meaningful patches rather than the ones we had last night, because that was terrible. Like, the game, for me anyway, got worse than it was before the patch. I thought they fixed the hair glitch, but I saw in this video that there is also still the hair glitch. So that's going to be it. Guys, thank you very much for watching the video. Please let me know down in the comments what you think needs to be added to the game. Is there anything that's screaming out for you? I know when I've said microtransactions and things like that in the past, that some people have been a little bit upset about it. Just kind of my stand on microtransaction is that people care about the game if they're still making money from the game. You don't care about a job that you left, but you would probably care about a job that you're still making money from. That's probably not the best analogy, but I don't want it to be completely microtransactions. I just think they'd care a little bit more about it. But guys, please remember to like, please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.